everyone. Welcome to this week's Advent Member Talk. My name is Sam. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm the Director of Member Experience at Advent Co-working. Advent is a creative co-working community, podcast studio, event space, art gallery. We have a new exhibit coming in, side note, in a few weeks, so stay tuned for that. But most importantly, we're a community and we love putting together this weekly event, Advent Member Talks. Each week features a different member on the topic of their choosing. So it's just a really cool opportunity for us to get to promote our members and learn more from all their amazing skills and talents. So today I'm excited to be joined by Donja, who's going to be talking about how to market your products and services and get folks to buy those. So if you have any questions for her, please go ahead, type those in the comments, and we'll have a short Q&A at the end. Donja, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Sam. I'm so excited to be here today. So as Sam mentioned, my name is Donja Williams. I'm Donja with a J. And I am a business success strategist and financial consultant. I am the founder and CEO of Freedom in Me, which is a business coaching and consultancy firm. We support businesses of all sizes. So from the entrepreneur who is trying to launch all the way to the corporation who needs to develop their leadership team and everything in between. We also recently, through Freedom in Me, founded a nonprofit, Freedom in Me Business Showers, where just like baby showers and bridal showers, we shower businesses with the essentials and things that they need to launch. So I'm excited today to present to you on how to market your product or service so others will buy. Marketing tends to be one of those big areas, right? We talk to so many new entrepreneurs at Freedom in Me, and the number one thing that's consistent every time we speak to them, whether they have launched their business, even our bigger corporations, if you can believe, is that how do I speak to my customer? And this applies to you whether or not you are a product-based business or a service-based business. We're going to talk about what that looks like. Just to go over our mission here at Freedom in Me is to break barriers that hinder growth and encourage freedom by providing strategies through coaching, training, and empowerment workshops. Our vision is that Freedom in Me clients are at a comfortable state of being with their financial, personal, and business realities. They are equipped with knowledge, empowered with strategies, and effortlessly moving through every obstacle and challenge that life or business brings. Our clients are innovators, leaders, and business owners. Through intentional organization, dedication, and determination, their freedom inspires others. Hey, freedom, it's me. So this is just our disclosure that we do with any of our training, that the information you're about to receive is proprietary information owned by Freedom in Me, LLC. We reserve all rights pertaining to the information that is enclosed. So copying, disseminating, or otherwise sharing this information is forbidden without the express written permission of Freedom in Me. So by the end of this course, you should be able to answer 4 questions. And that is, what is marketing, right? We hear so much about it when we start business owners, but what exactly is marketing? What positioning means in marketing when we talk about positioning, and how to position your product to reach your ideal customer. And then finally, we'll go over what information is needed to create your ideal customer profile. So this is a lot of information with a short amount of time. So definitely, if you need to catch the replay, if you want to ask questions afterwards, but I'm going to continuously go through and I'll try to get your questions if you put it in the chat, just so we can keep it going. So why is knowing how to position your products important? Understanding how to position your products will tell your customer why they should care about what you are selling over your competitors. It helps you understand how to occupy the intimate space in your customer's mind so they will remember you and then buy. It allows you to project your startup costs related to establishing your business, and it sets you apart from your customers. So what is marketing? So marketing is essentially it's promoting, advertising, and selling products and or services to a customer. That's what marketing is. Marketing is understanding how your customer wants to be communicated to so you can sell to them. I took a marketing course in college and they always said communication is not what you say, it's what the other person perceives that you are saying. So understanding how your customer wants to be communicated to is key in helping you to be able to sell to them. In short, it's building an intimate relationship with your customer. Now, when I teach clients my marketing class, we go over 5 foundational stones for a marketing plan or strategy. Now, today, of course, we are not going to be able to do that because that's done over a course of weeks. But just so you're familiar with what those 5 things are, that if you create any kind of marketing plan, you are focusing on your product, the promotion, the place, the price, and the people. So again, we do not have time to cover those things as we want to focus today just on positioning. But before we jump into that, I want to talk to you about a common term in marketing called the push and pull in marketing. Push and pull in marketing. And I don't want you to complicate it. You know why? Because it's literally what it says, push and pull. So we're going to talk about when to use one or the other. So when we talk about push, you're creating the demand. And then when you talk about pulling, you are supplying the demand. So push in marketing is trying to get the word out about your business to as many people as you can. So when you push, you're literally pushing the word out. You're trying to make customers aware of your brand and that you exist. There is no demand for your product. So customers are not asking for it. They're not looking for it. You're literally just trying to get your product or your service out to as many different, you're pushing it out to as many different people as you can. Push is really ideal for customers that are looking for the best value or price, and they're not loyal to their brand or they're not loyal to the brand on one brand over the other. So for example, I'll give you an example of that. For me, I love Scott tissue. I'm a Scott tissue girl, right? And so if I ran out of tissue like we did during the pandemic, right? And I'm going from store to store to store, they may have different brands. You may have pushed your brand of tissue out, but for me, that push strategy wouldn't work because I am loyal to the brand of Scott. Usually, push strategy and market is good for customers who are not tied to a particular brand. If you get a customer that's tied to a particular brand, 9 times out of 10, something has to go wrong or bad with that brand in order for them to even consider what you are selling or you are or your service. So let's talk about pull. We talked about the push in marketing. The pull. The pull is just how it sounds. You're pulling people to you, right? There is a demand for the product or service. Think of the pull in marketing as wanting to draw customers closer to you. Pull is great for service-based businesses because you can focus on a specific need and a target audience. The way you do that, similarly to this training, right? This may be, there may have been a demand for people to learn how to market, how to speak to their ideal customer. And so you specifically hone in on a specific topic, a specific subject, you provide content or a product that is specific to the growing need. You might know from just being around during the pandemic that used cars are in a high demand, right? So if you type in used cars for sale, if you market your product right using the pull strategy, you'll pull up a whole slew of customers or businesses that are offering used cars. So both of them have their place in marketing, but you have to determine which strategy you want to use when you're talking about marketing. If you are just trying to get your product out there, you may want to just push it out in different avenues, different venues, Facebook, Google marketing, print ads, what have you, just different things. Whereas pull, you may want to be more specific and targeted. So which method should we use to get our message out in marketing? Push or pull? What do you guys say? I say both. You know, each of them have their place. They both have their place in marketing. You may push your product out to a large group of people, a large audience of people, which happens, right? You see those videos that go viral overnight, and they just pushing it out there. And then there becomes a demand for that type of video or product or service. So both of them have their place. It just really depends on where you are in your business, but definitely use the push or the pull back strategy. So what is positioning in marketing, and why am I focusing on positioning versus those other 5 P's that we talked about? Positioning in marketing, it really refers to the process of establishing the image or identity of a brand or products that customers perceive it a certain way. So I want you to think of me as your business success strategist, right? And so the way I position my service or my product is going to be determined on to how you perceive me in your mind. So let's talk a little bit about how to position your product or service. Now, I love to go through the examples for each one of these, but of course, due to time and I don't want to prolong it, what I did is I put them all on a list and we'll talk through some of them. But if you are watching it, I definitely would love for you to write these questions down, because when you talk about positioning and when you talk about occupying that space in your customer's mind, you want to consider each one of these questions. So what are your customers' pain points? Are their pain points? What drives them crazy, right? What upsets them? What keeps them up at night? What bothers them? You need to know, whenever you provide a product or a service, what your customer pain points are. And then you want to ask yourself, what value do you provide for your customers? Once I understand what's keeping my customer up at night, what can I give them? What value am I providing for them to address those pain points? The next question you want to ask yourself is, what results will the customer get as a result of your product or service? What results will the customer get as a result of your product or service? Or should say purchasing your product or service. The next question is, how is your customer's life made better? How is your customer's life made better? If I buy your product or your service, how is that going to make my life better? And in a second here, we're going to go over some examples about what these things look like. Then you want to consider what sets you apart from the competition. Why am I not going to go to the what's chicken sandwich, the competition, Popeyes and Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich? Why am I going to go to Popeyes and get their chicken sandwich over Chick-fil-A and get their chicken sandwich? What sets the two apart? And for some, it's affordability. Some may say, you know what? Chick-fil-A is a little bit too expensive for me. I'm going to go over to Popeyes. But for me, I'm all about the experience. I love the pleasantries. I love the efficiency of how their lines flow, no matter how long they are. I love the pleasantries of thank you and my pleasure. So for me, if I'm looking for the experience, and I'm going to go with Chick-fil-A and I'm going to get their chicken sandwich, right? So it really depends on, you really have to ask yourself, I may provide, and one of the common things we hear with new business owners is there's so many people that have what I'm selling and what I'm offering, right? That is true. That is true. There's 1,001 business coaches. There's 1,001 people that have skincare lines. There's 1,001 people that do anything that you could probably come up, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun. The key is you have to determine what sets you apart from that competition. So think about what's going to be your competitive edge. And then why should your customer trust you? If you're just pushing your product out there, like we talked about in the marketing strategy, which most new business owners are when they start off, they don't really understand marketing and marketing plans and strategies. They're doing that push in marketing. They're pushing. But why should I trust you? I don't know you. I trust Scott. Scott has not let me down. I know that it's going to last a long time. I know that it's going to get I don't buy tissue for at least 3 to 4 months with Scott. Why do I want to change what is working for me? And the way you do that is by telling your story, because somewhere in your story as a new business owner, you're going to resonate with the audience that is specifically for you. So consider what your story is and consider why your customers should trust you. The next thing is, if you are the face of your brand, are you likable? Are you relatable? Can people that you're selling to relate to you? Can they say, oh, you know what? One of the things I like to do, and I don't have time on this, is I always tell my story, because a lot of times people, I pride myself on being relatable, right? Because I handle businesses from conception. You can think about a business in your mind, and we can have a one-on-one. We could talk about how to monetize that. But then I'm all the way up in the corporation, and they pay, thousands of dollars, right, just to have you come in for 2 hours and deliver leadership development training. However, the one thing that's the same with all of those business owners is, can I relate to anything that you're telling me? Can I find myself or a need that I have in what you are saying to me? And so you want to consider, when you're focusing on your brand, are you likable? Can your customers relate to your product or service, especially if you're presenting yourself as the face of your brand? And then one of the biggest things that I think we all tend to forget when we start new businesses is switching to your product/service easy, convenient, and seamless. That might seem so simple to some people, but think about it. When I go on a website and I see something I like, and I'm like, oh, I want to know how much that costs. And I'm clicking and I'm clicking and I'm finding and I'm trying to I go on your website. If I don't see it within the first 5 seconds, I'm like, forget it. You lost me, right? Chances are I'm not going to ever remember your website. Chances are I'm not going to ever remember your brand, because it's just not a common brand. And you lost the sale. And I might see it a year from now, like, oh yeah, that was the brand that I was trying to figure out. And you've gotten it by that. So one of the things that I recommend as a business coach, even when we're posting on Facebook, there should be a link that is directly tied to whatever your product, your promotion, or your service is, that a person can just click directly on it and get what they need. We're clickers. These days, these generations, we want to get the information, and then most times they get the rest of everything they want on the back end. But customers are literally just looking for the information they need. And if you're pushing your product out there, or you're trying to pull customers into you, you want to make sure that the process is seamless, it's easy, and it's convenient, because you don't want to give them any reason to get discouraged, to get frustrated and say, oh, forget it, I'll just keep what I have. So those are, it sounds pretty common question, but you'd be surprised how often these things are not addressed in marketing, and we lose customers, or the customers we do attract to us, we lose them because we don't address one of these things. So your homework, if you want to get the most out of this training, is to go through these questions and really take the time to think about and ask yourself these questions. So I'm going to go over a couple examples of positioning in marketing. Your ideal customer might say, I'm looking to purchase new socks that don't shrink. That is your ideal customer, the one that's in the market to purchase new socks. blah, socks that don't shrink. So a value statement, when we provide value, might sound like, we sell the best quality socks at the most affordable rates. We guarantee our socks won't shrink, get holes, or fade, or you get your money back. That sounds good to me, right? Because my problem was that I need new socks. And as a business owner, I can infer that this customer keeps buying socks over and over and over again, and they're shrinking. And so now they like, look, I just want to find socks that don't shrink. So if I can guarantee that customer that I'm going to provide them quality socks and my rates are going to be affordable, because in my mind, I'm already probably like, if I have to spend a little bit more, I'm that kind of consumer. I'll buy it just so the socks don't shrink, right? But then you gave me a guarantee on top of that. We guarantee our socks won't shrink, get holes, or fade, or you get your money back. So now I'm going to say, oh, if I have to invest $20 on this pack of socks, I know if anything happens, I'm getting my money back and I'm going to get another thing. So you just spoke to all of the needs of your ideal customer. So when you're marketing, you're creating content, when you're posting, when you are creating ads, whatever you're doing, you're speaking to the pain point. That is the pain point of your ideal customer. I'll give you another example. Your ideal customer says, I really need to buy a new battery that lasts. So your value statement might sound something like, we sell batteries that are long-lasting, instant recharging, and backed by our lifetime warranty guaranteed. We promise it or your money back. That sounds good to me, right? My pain point is I need a new battery that's going to last. Obviously, I'm getting batteries and they're burning out on me quickly. So you spoke to my pain point. If you tell me you're going to sell me a battery that is going to last a long time, it's instant recharging and backed up by a lifetime warranty, how could I lose, right? And you're going to promise me that, or again, my money back is guaranteed. That is you spoke to my pain point and then you packed it with value. Is the value in this is it's long lasting, it's instant recharging, it's backed by our lifetime warranty, and we promise you your money back if for whatever reason it does not work. So this is your homework one. We're not going to go over this one, but your ideal customer pain point is, my hair is so dry and it won't stop breaking. What would be your value statement? What would you say to speak to your customer's pain point? How would you position this for if you sell a product for this customer? I want you to consider their pain points and the value that you add with your product or service. So I know we just have a little bit more time here, and I want to save a little bit of time for at the end for your questions. So let's talk about creating your ideal customer profile. We talked about what marketing is. We talked about all of the things, the 5 milestone or keystones that you need to create your marketing plan. We talked about how to position your product so that customers will buy from you. But let's talk about, how do you even create your ideal customer profile, right? You talked about pain points and value and all of this other stuff. What do I need to find my ideal customer? So let's talk about it. So I want to say I left this page blank on purpose, but I didn't. I have to get with my assistant, but it's okay. Let's talk through it. So the importance of creating your ideal customer profile is a couple different reasons. One, you want to be able to show how your product, again, benefits the customer. So when you talk about your ideal customer, you're speaking to their pain points, you're speaking to how it benefits them, and then you're speaking to the value that is created. It also helps you know where you can find your ideal customer. If you don't create your customer profile, how do you know where to find them? Are they found in school systems? Are they found in the grocery store? Are they social media junkies? Where do you find your ideal customer? That is one of the biggest reasonings for why it's important to create your ideal customer profile. So the first thing you want to know is, your ideal customers' demographics? You can write these things down and you want to think about that in terms of your product or your service. So what's their age? What's their race? What's their gender? Are they religious? What's their marital status? What's their employment status? You know, if you're speaking to, I say, what is it? The Gen X's or Gen Z's? I always get those two confused. But the social media age, I think it's the Gen Z's. They are social media, all things social media. My 8-year-old, he teaches me social media still. Isn't that crazy, right? My 8-year-old teaches me social media still. So you want to know if your product is totally virtual and social media based, your age demographics may not be the 50 and 60-year-olds or the 45 to 50-year-olds. You may really want to focus on that. We're getting them as young as like 13 to 35 age range. And I'm just throwing it out there. So please, no one take offense. I'm just giving an example. But the age range that you want to focus on are the ages where you're going to find that people that are on social media and that are using it know how to navigate through it. Not the people like my grandma. She loves social media, but she's not on there. When she goes to buy a product or service, she's not coming to Facebook. So if you're looking for someone in her age demographic, social media is not going to be that. So those are some of the things you want to consider when you talk about creating your customer profile. What's their age, their race, gender, religion, marital status, and employment status. What are their values? What does your ideal customer value? Remember, we talked about the socks that don't shrink. I value having good quality socks that don't shrink. And another example we talked about is that long-lasting battery, right? I valued a battery that was going to last me a long time. What does your ideal customer value? What do they value about your product or service?
Hey, Donja, we hit 5 o'clock.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Can we schedule you for a part 2? Because this is like such good information. I love these examples.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry, guys. Yes, we can do a part 2.
Okay, good, because
Yes.
I want to hear the rest of this, and I'm sure everyone else does too. And we would also love to take like a full course with this information.
Awesome. Yes,
It's
I'm so
important.
sorry, guys.
No, it's good. And let me ask one of the questions we got from a viewer,
Okay.
and then I'll just ask, how folks can get in touch with you. So just that quick question, really
Sure.
quick response. What advice would you give someone just starting a business who's trying to determine, how to package like their product?
So what advice would I give someone who's just starting a business and trying to determine how to package their product?
Mhm.
Depends on what you're selling. I would ask you a couple of questions. First of all, is there demand for your product, right? We talked about the push and the pull. Is there demand for your product? Because that's going to determine how you're going to package it and how you're going to market it. If there's no demand for your market and you're just going to push it out there, then what is it that you're offering? And how does it benefit your customers? So speak to the pain points of how or what your customers are feeling, how it's going to benefit them, and then the value that you're going to provide by offering your product or service.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Donja, if folks want to learn more about you, learn more about your business, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Yeah, so you can actually, my email address is at the bottom. Our website is www.itsthefreedominme.com right here, or you can actually email me info@itsthefreedominme.com. And this is our business line, 980-292-1622. We're on most social media platforms, so you can find us. You can find me on LinkedIn at Donja Williams, Freedom in Me on Facebook, It's the Freedom in Me on Instagram, or you can just go to my website and click on any of our social media links.
Awesome. I will include all of that in the notes once we get this posted on to our YouTube channel, Advent Coworking. So thank you again, Donja, so much. I'm gonna send you
Yeah.
an email about this part two. And I
Okay.
hope and I hope y'all will join us for our next talk, which will be on Tuesday, September 14th. And if you are an Advent member watching this and you've not given a talk or it's been a while, let's get you signed up. We'd love to learn everything that you know. All right, y'all. Thank you. Have a great evening.
You're welcome.